Last week I introduced to you what's with object-oriented programming in Visual Basic.net. So now, we will tackle about Week 3. Getting started with Microsoft Visual Basic.net. So, let's start. Here is our learning outcomes. At the end of the session, you should be able to 1. Define computer programming and translator of programming languages. 2. Describe the integrated development environment. 3. Demonstrate the Visual Basic.net environment. So let's define what is computer programming. Computers can only follow instructions. A computer program is a set of instructions on how to solve a problem or perform a task. Computer programming is the process of developing and implementing various sets of instructions to enable a computer to do a certain task. These instructions are considered computer programs and help the computer to operate smoothly. What are the roles of programming languages? The steps in an algorithm must be stated in a form the computer understands. The CPU processes a series of 1s and 0s called machine language instructions. This is a tedious and difficult format for people. Programming languages allow us to use words instead of numbers. Special software called a compiler converts the programming language statements to machine language instructions. There are some popular programming languages that are currently used to program a certain system. Visual Basic.net and C#. Popular programming languages for building Windows and web applications. C and C++. Powerful advanced programming languages that emphasize flexibility and fast running times. C++ is also object-oriented. Java. Flexible and powerful programming language that runs on many different computer systems. Often used to teach object-oriented programming. Python. Simple, yet powerful programming language used for graphics and small applications. PHP. Programming language used for creating interactive websites. JavaScript. Scripting language used in web applications that provides rich user interfaces for web browsers. What is a program made of? Keywords, reserved words. Words with special meaning that make up a high-level programming language, cannot be used for any other purpose. Operators. Special symbols that perform various operations on data. Variables. Used to store data in memory, named by the programmer. Also, our program is made up of syntax. Set of rules. Similar to the syntax, rules, of a spoken language, such as English, but must be strictly followed. If even a single syntax error appears in a program, it will not compile or execute. Statements. Instructions made up of keywords, variables, and operators. Called source code, or simply code. And lastly, procedures. Set of programming statements that perform a specific task. Comments, remarks. Ignored when the program runs. Help human reader understand the purpose of programming statements. In Visual Basic, any statement that begins with an apostrophe Are you wondering how a program is being translated? So here's how translation of programming languages works. A translator or programming language processor is a computer program that performs the translation of a program written in a given programming language into a functionally equivalent program in another computer language, the target language, without losing the functional or logical structure of the original code, the essence of each program. So what is IDE? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, wherein it is a software application that provides comprehensive facilities to computer programmers for software development. An IDE normally consists of a source code editor, build automation tools, and a debugger. This is how the startup page looks like. The introduction of the Premium and Ultimate editions and the increased functionality of the tooling they provided led to the creation of a number of how-to videos that were eventually included on the start page. Based on our telemetry, many of you like these a lot, as we're seeing downloads approaching 950,000 per month. A Visual Basic window is also called Integrated Development Environment, IDE. Window. This window opens when we click on Standard EXE icon from New Project dialog box. In Visual Basic, a program is referred to as a project. Every Visual Basic project consists of at least two separate files called a project file and a form file. A project file which extension is .vbp and form file which extension is .frm. Project file created only one, but multiple form file and other type of file can also be included in a project. These files are called class module, .cls, files, standard module, .bas, files, resource, .rcs, file, ActiveX control, .ocx, file, and so on. Thus, the development of a Visual Basic project involves keeping track of several different files and accessing these files individually within Visual Basic environment, as needed. Windows Forms is the Smart Client component of the .NET framework, a set of managed libraries that enable common application tasks such as reading and writing to the file system. Using a development environment like Visual Studio, you can create Windows Forms applications that display information, request input from users, and communicate with remote computers over a network. In Windows Forms, a form is a visual surface on which you display information to the user. You commonly build Windows Forms applications by placing controls on forms and developing responses to user actions, such as mouse clicks or key presses. A control is a discrete user interface, UI, element that displays data or accepts data input. When we open a Visual Basic project window, which is also called IDE window, its components are displayed in the following format. Let's slice all the parts of Visual Basic.NET IDE. Now, we have the menu bar. The menu bar is also common for all document window. It contains command required and build an application. The main menu items have some menu items that can be chosen when needed. It also provides menus such as File, Edit, View, Project. The standard toolbar. The toolbars gives us quick access to commonly used menu command. Beside the main toolbar, which is displays by default window the menu bar, Visual Basic IDE provides additional toolbar for specific purpose. The four built-in toolbar are Standard, Edit, Debug and From Editor. By default, Standard toolbar appear immediately below the menu bar. The toolbox is a window for selecting controls to use in an application's user interface. divided into sections such as all Windows forms and common controls. To open a section, click on its name tab. To close a section, click on its name tab again. Move a section to the top by dragging its name with the mouse. The toolbox typically appears on the left side of Visual Studio environment. If the toolbox is in auto hide mode, clicking on the tab will display the window. Solution Explorer window. This is a section that is used to view and modify the contents of the project. A Visual Studio Windows application project will generally have a form object with a code page, references to system components and possibly other modules with special code that is used by the application. Properties window. The Properties window shows all the control, like text box, properties to be changed at design time. Most of these properties can be also changed with code at runtime, but basically most properties change the way the control is displayed on your application. Form Designer window. The Form Designer allows you to design your application's user interface visually by dragging controls onto a design time representation of your application. Once the controls are on the form, you can visually position the controls, set their properties through the Properties window, and create event handlers for the events. Output, Error List, and Command window. The Output window can display status messages for various features in the Integrated Development Environment, IDE. To open the Output window, on the menu bar, choose View/Output, or click Ctrl+Alt+O. The error list displays information about a specific error message. You can copy the error number or error string text from the Output window. To display the Output window, press Ctrl+Alt+O. The Command window is used to execute commands or aliases directly in the Visual Studio Integrated Development Environment, IDE. You can execute both menu commands and commands that do not appear on any menu. To display the Command window, choose Other Windows from the View menu, and select Command window. Auto Hide. Many windows have a feature known as Auto Hide. Allows for more room to view an application's forms and code. Click on the push pin icon to turn Auto Hide on or off. Using tooltips. A tooltip is a small rectangular box that pops up when you hover the mouse pointer over a button on the toolbar or toolbox for a few seconds. Contains a short description of the button's purpose. Use a tooltip whenever you cannot remember a particular button's function. Docked and floating windows. When a window is docked, it is attached to one of the edges of the Visual Studio environment. When a window is floating, you can resize the window as well as click and drag it by its title bar. Right-click a window's title bar and select Float or Dock to change between floating or docked. This is an example of Floating Toolbox, Solution Explorer, and Properties windows. What is Console Application? Console applications have recently been introduced in Visual Basic.NET. They are command-line-based applications. Console applications allow us to write data to the console, read data from the console, and run within a DOS shell. They do not support Windows GUIs. Console applications are supported by the system console namespace. So for us to create a console application, we must create first a new project and select console application as a format for our project file. In Visual Basic.NET, after successfully creating a project file, there are default startup code. Now, for us to print "This is my first console application," we have to use the code system.console.write. Finally, we output a sample console application. Thank you for listening. You may check our Google Classroom for some announcement and assignments.